Well, there's a whole heat gun dual temperature safety instruction manual that I'm not gonna read. Where is all the smoke coming from? What, is it supposed to do that? It's March 11th, and it definitely feels like spring, so we're crafting outside. I started with a piece of paper. Figured it was too tall to the whole thing. So I started just cutting out some like basic shapes and stencils. So then I cut out this one. Played around with the idea of like having it like folded. And I figure if I like cut the fabric and stuff a bit long, I can even use the extra to help like secure it to whatever headpiece it's gonna be sitting on. So then I had this going. I figured the pink felt would be the inside and then this would be all the other parts. So now I'm gonna cut it out. What I need right now is my, I have a thing. It like measures like stitch allowance. So I'm gonna go get that. So I couldn't find the tool I was looking for, which is like annoying. But I have this multi-tool. I probably want about, I said I'm gonna go 2 centimeters. And because I know it's gonna be symmetrical, I only really need to draw out half, because then I can just fold it in half to make sure I'm getting the other half exact. Alright, I need to cut 4 white pieces this side, because I need the fronts and backs for each of them. So 4 total. And I probably should like pin this or iron it or something, but I like skipping steps that then make things harder for me later on. Oh, that looks huge. But I gotta remember that like, if I sew it once and it looks too big, then I just sew it again with more seam, and then just cut out some seam. I think I'm fine.
I think a tree just fell.
I think a tree just fell too.
So, okay.
Yeah.
So you can control how big this ultimately ends up being by how far in you make that seam?
Yep. Yep. That's how that works. I'll sew this to this, and then I'll sew this like this, and then flip it inside out. But we gotta get there first. I'm not doing this correctly. Don't cut things like this.
So I'm just gonna interject a little nature video inside of her video while we go investigate what fell in the creek. Oh, whoa, here it is right here. I don't even have to investigate. Yes, this is definitely the culprit. Alright. Mystery solved. I guess I'll go see if she got her pins. Let's take in this beautiful water for a second though. And the far less beautiful airplanes overhead. Oh, yo, that was a motherfucking snake. Alright. Okay, we're seeing snakes. It's time to get out of here before I get bit. You got your pins?
Yeah. What I'm doing right now, just stitching the pink part onto the white part. I'm just using what's called a whip stitch, which is like the easiest stitch in the world. 9 times out of 10, a whip stitch works just fine. If you loop through your hole twice, that'll automatically tie a double knot when you pull it tight. And then you just snip it off, and that's it. Hey, we're down in my craft studio to work on the next part of the project, and I'm super duper excited to talk about this part. We went out thrifting the other weekend, and I bought this whole basket of vintage ribbon and yarn for 20 bucks. This was kind of like my inspiration for the whole thing. Some of them are obviously like Christmas ribbon, like trees and poinsettias, but the others are super cute and pastel. And like, look, $15, $15, $7, $7. I paid $20 for this whole basket. And it's like decent yardage too. 20 yards, 20 yards. Yeah, I'm excited. So I think the ribbons I'm going to use for this one, for my bunny ears, I think I'm going to go with this like sort of rosy pink one. And this like cream and pink. And the photographer and I talked about bringing in like citrus colors. So I think I'm going to use this yellow too. I also bought these cherry blossoms for embellishments on the bunny ears. And if you look, I mean, these colors are perfect. So I'm excited about this color scheme I have going on. What I'm not excited about is I think I decided how I wanted to incorporate the lace a little too late in the project. I think I'm going to try to use this lace to like trim the edge. And I want it like pleated all along the side as like a lace trim. I'm actually going to try seeing if I can just gather it first and see how it looks like gathered, because that's way easier than actually making pleats. But if it doesn't look good gathered, then I'll just like go through and pleat it. But I'm worried about them being too big with like the extra trimming on it. So I'm going to end up having to sew it, I think, way closer to the pink part than I had originally planned. But I think it'll look fine. I think it'll be fine. So I've got an experiment I want to do. I'm just going to take this lace and throw a gathering stitch through it. I think one of the issues with having it just like bunched up is that like it just might be like too bulky in my seam. I'm going to cut off a little piece and experiment. Gathering stitches are just like a loose stitch that you run through your fabric so that you can like pull it together and have all your fabric bunch up. So you just put your sewing machine on your widest stitch setting. Make sure you have plenty of like excess coming out the back. You don't do any back stitching at all. You want like your thread like real loosey-goosey in there. So off a little extra. You see it's already wanting to like bunch up, which is great. You just pull one of the ends here. And hopefully don't pull my thread all the way through. I think that looks kind of nice. So let me gather up a big strip of it and put it in place. See what happens. Hey, this is always the fun part.
How did you know how long to make that ribbon if you were going to bunch it up?
I guesstimated. I sort of just like eyeballed the length I needed and then doubled it and then gave myself a little extra. And it might not end up being the right length at all, but I don't really know the length I'm going to need because I don't know how much bunching I'm really going to want ultimately. So I just like had to start somewhere. So I'm pinning on the lace trim here and it made it look like I'm pinning it in the wrong place. But because what I'm essentially making is like a pocket, I have to like think about the fact that I'm going to be sewing it inside out. This is actually going to be inside the seam, so once that's folded over, then that's the part that sticks out. For the record, my measurement of double the length plus a little came out to be just about perfect. So do that for your ruffled trims. Double plus a little is my official measurement here. Alright, I'm going to sew the two halves together and see what happens. Ooh, good things I hope. I'm nervous. I'm making a lace sandwich. Oh, I'm super nervous. I think this might be a lot harder to turn inside out than I initially thought, and now I'm a little bit worried about that. Yeah, because that's like tiny. I just gotta go for it. I feel like if I get past this like one, I did it! I don't know, I think that's pretty cute. I like the spacing I've got on my lace. I don't think it's like too wide. I wish you could see a little bit more of the white, but you'll be able to see it on the sides and on the back. Cute! Alright, one down, one to go. So we're on day 3 of the bunny ear project. So today we'll be finishing everything up because my photo shoot's tomorrow. I have both the ears sewn, and I went ahead and off camera ran wire through them. I'm going to do a couple things I've never done before that I'm actually excited about. I've used a hair dryer before on craft foam, but I actually have a heat gun now, so I'm going to practice using the heat gun with the craft foam, which I'm worried about like melting it since this is really cheap and thin, but we'll see. But the part I'm most excited about is figuring out what shape I need to cut this out of 2-dimensionally before I mold it to be 3 dimensions. And to figure out that shape, I'm going to use a technique, or see if a technique works that I actually learned from watching people on YouTube and Instagram who make doll wigs. So I'm going to cover this foam craft head in plastic wrap. And then once I get a nice like thick plastic wrap, I'm going to draw out in Sharpie the shape that I want, cut out the shape, and then I'll be able to lay it flat and cut that shape out of the foam, hopefully. Let's see if this works. Well, okay, alright, that worked. That's a template of sorts. And now I can always fold it and cut it to get more symmetrical. Cool, now that I have this, I'm going to cut 2 of these out of this foam. That's my scrap pile down there. Alright, so full disclosure, I've never even taken this heat gun out of the box before. I'm a little intimidated. Let's see what happens. Well, there's a whole heat gun dual temperature safety instruction manual that I'm not gonna read. Man, this thing looks official. I've seen people use heat guns a lot. I used to work for a haunted house, so we did a lot of foam molding for our exteriors, for our scenes and stuff. And we used the heat gun constantly for that, but I personally did not. So I'm excited to learn. They're like $7. I'll order anyone. Yeah,
but you need to be able to finish this by tomorrow.
I mean, I have other foam heads. They're just like made to look like ghosts. I mean, that's not that much harder than like a hairdryer. Alright. Oh, well, I mean, it's definitely doing something to the foam. Oh, it smells bad. It smells bad. Alright, it's kind of working. Alright, let's keep going. This like smoke is kind of freaking me out, but... Okay. Yeah! Oh, I'm definitely melting the foam head though. But this is also melting, so I'm gonna still consider that a win. Where is all the smoke coming from? Is it supposed to do that? Let's go do this outside. Alright, heat gun, take 2. Oh yeah, okay. Alright, I think, ooh. Should get the gun away from my face. I think that's probably as good as it's gonna get, and then I'll just have to cut off the excess back here. It's definitely giving me like some weird like Nun or what's that show everybody watches? Handmaid's Tale like vibes right now. So I'm gonna call this one good, see what it looks like when I unpin it, trim off the excess, and then do the second piece. Because I want to have two pieces. That way I have a piece that I can hot glue the ears down onto, and then a secondary piece that I can put on top to hide all that hot glue and everything and make it the finished product look nice and clean. I roughly marked out on the headpiece here, which worked great by the way. I definitely melted my head form. But other than that, I mean, the hot glue and the foam worked spectacularly. Like, I always knew that that was a, why can't I think of words? That was like a technique, that's the word, that, that cosplayers and stuff used, but I'd never actually done it myself. So it's nice to, like, have that confirmation that actually is not that hard. Now, I'm moving on to a tool that I'm much more comfortable with. Good old hot glue gun. I'm worried that maybe I put them too close together. But bunny rabbit ears are like directly on top of their head, right? Alright, here's my idea. I'm just gonna go for it. I don't know, this is a good idea. So I cut out notches in my top layer. That way I can then go and hot glue this down and you don't see any of the hot gluing I just did along the back. And then where you can still see seams in the front, that's okay. I'm gonna go through and embellish it with some ribbon and flowers and stuff and hopefully hide all these seams and everything. Like contact cement would probably be better for this than hot glue, but this is working. Whew. So my plan is to go in and like hide all this. Just take a little cherry blossom and some leaves. I'm gonna hot glue it right there like that and hide all that. But I think maybe I need to go in with the lace on the trim first. So I got my lace trim glued on. I switched from using hot glue to using clear gel tacky glue for this so you wouldn't see it through the lace. I hot glued the cherry blossoms and it perfectly like hid my seams and they look super cute. I'm super happy with how this turned out. Right now there's not much more I can do because I just gotta wait on the tacky glue to dry, and then I'm gonna go in and attach the yellow lace ribbon to the underside so I can like either tie it under my chin or like behind my head so it stays in place. I have to brush out and style the wig, make sure it's looking good for tomorrow, and then I'll see what the ears and the wig look like together and get everything packed so these can have their debut. They're so cute! So some final notes on this project. Some things I like. Everything. Really happy with how this turned out. It just all looks very clean and cohesive and like one solid piece. Using the heat gun was successful. Molding the foam was successful. Using the wire was successful. Another technique that I'm definitely going to use in the future was wrapping the plastic around the foam head and drawing out a template. I've been really intimidated when it comes to working with the thermoplastic, but as far as like figuring out 3D shapes and how to template patterns for it has really sort of demystified that process for me, gave me some clear direction to go in when it comes to making patterns. So that's something I'm excited that I experimented with and went well. Thanks for watching. I hope the photo shoot turns out amazing and I hope you guys like it.